The spaceport of Terran 9 buzzed with life, an eclectic mix of colors and sounds. Alien traders shouted their wares from stalls displaying shimmering crystals and unusual creatures, while sleek starships thrummed with energy as they prepared for takeoff. Jack Hartman stepped onto the bustling promenade, his heavy boots thudding against the metallic floor. He ran a hand through his tousled hair, grimacing as the scent of exotic spices filled his nostrils. Once a celebrated space pilot, Jack had tried to leave that life behind, escaping the memories of loss and failure. He had seen too much, had failed those who depended on him. But tales of adventure still colored his dreams, until he saw her. In the crowd, a figure caught his eye. Tricia, an alien beauty with iridescent skin that shifted hues beneath the light, stood surrounded by gruff mercenaries. Her eyes, a mesmerizing shade of violet, flashed with fear as they closed in on her. Jack's heart raced. This was not his concern anymore, but something about her desperation stirred an old dam of courage. In swift motion, he pushed through the crowd. He was fast and agile, his instincts kicking in as he approached. "Hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size?" he called out, a smirk glued to his face, though his heart pounded against his ribs. The mercenaries turned, surprised by Jack's sudden appearance. "And who might you be, human?" a burly figure spat, cracking his knuckles menacingly. "Just a guy who believes in seeing justice done," Jack shot back. As he moved, something within him ignited. The nearest mercenary lunged, throwing a punch aimed at Jack's face. Jack ducked just in time, countering with a swift jab to the mercenary's gut that sent him staggering back. The crowd watched in wide-eyed amazement. "Get him!" one of the remaining mercenaries shouted, and they all charged at Jack. With a flurry of fists, Jack fought back, his movements a blur. He was faster than he remembered. Perhaps the old pilot wasn't entirely lost. As the last mercenary crumpled to the ground, Jack faced Tricia, breathing heavily, his heart pounding in exhilaration. "You saved me," she said, awe evident in her voice. "Yeah, well, caught you some time," Jack grinned, wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. "No," she said, stepping closer, her expression shifting from fear to gratitude. "You have no idea what you've done. I need your help." Jack's brow furrowed. "You need my help? I hardly know you. I am Tricia, daughter of Mistral, the last guardian of Varta. If Tharok obtains me, he will unleash a reign of terror across my galaxy," she stated, her urgency palpable. "Me? A guardian? I've retired from that life," Jack replied, scoffing lightly, yet feeling an undeniable pull toward her plight. "Your skills are unmatched. You could help me rally allies. Together we could stand against him." Tricia's eyes sparkled with determination. He looked into her eyes, searching for any sign of deceit. Jack contemplated for a moment, memories of his past failures hovering in his mind. Finally, he nodded slowly, feeling the weight of a decision. "All right, Tricia, but I don't take kindly to risk. You'll have to trust me as much as I trust you." As the engines of the Voyager hummed to life, Jack strapped himself into the pilot's seat, glancing back at Tricia as she secured her gear. The starship was submerged in sleek, discreet black panels designed for stealth, perfect for their escape. "Tell me more about Tharok," Jack said, navigating the ship through the bustling traffic of Terran 9. Tricia adjusted a panel, her fingers dancing over the alien interface. "He's a warlord, ruthless and cunning. He commands an army of mercenaries and has been hunting me ever since my father fell. I fear without help my people will be slaughtered." "Why not fight him?" Jack asked, intrigued. The allure of going against a villain sparked a rough excitement in him. "My father's spirit protects me, but I am not a natural warrior. I need to learn fast," she confessed, her gaze unwavering. "And you are my only hope." Jack felt a rush of pride. "Then we'll train. I'll teach you the basics of combat." He raised an eyebrow, a thought crossing his mind. "But it's more than that. I need to know what makes you tick, Tricia. You have all this rage inside you. Let's harness it." With a determined smile, she nodded. "I appreciate that, Jack. I want to protect my people, to be worthy like my father." As they reached the outer rim of the galaxy, the stars opened up like a vast cosmic tapestry. Jack couldn't help but feel exhilarated. The weight of his past momentarily lifted in the presence of this mysterious woman with such fire. In the following days, as they traveled further from danger, Tricia trained diligently under Jack's watchful eye. He taught her basic combat techniques, the right stance, the proper timing. They sparred in the training area, and every misstep Jack corrected became a stepping stone toward her growth. One evening, after an intense training session, they found themselves sharing rations in the cockpit. Laughter intertwined with focused discussions. "You're not nearly as bad as I thought you'd be," she teased. "For a retired hero, you still have some moves." "Just wait until you see my secret finisher," Jack grinned, pleased at her banter. Their camaraderie grew, the seriousness of their mission forging a bond that felt deeper than Jack had anticipated. But beneath the light-hearted moments lay the tension of the challenges ahead. As the Voyager glided through the cosmos, whispers of danger painted the backdrop of their journey to Varta. Jack glanced at Tricia, who stared out at the stars, a look of determination on her face. "We'll gather the rebels and confront Tharok," she said, resting her chin on her hand. "I know this is risky, but we can't allow fear to stop us." "You're right," Jack acknowledged, gripping the controls. "But we need a strategy. We can't just walk in blindly." They spent days plotting their approach. Jack researched potential allies, while Tricia explained the socio-political landscape of her homeworld. With each passing moment, the urgency heightened. News of Tharok's reign reached far, and the rebellion grew bolder with each tale of oppression. "Tomorrow, we'll make a stop on Janthor," Tricia suggested, her eyes bright. "The Free Syndicate is based there. If anyone can help us rally forces, it's them." "Janthor it is," Jack decided, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. He navigated the ship towards the vibrant port of Janthor, his heart thumping in sync with the ship's pulse. On arrival, the colorful patina of the marketplace dazzled Jack's eyes, filled with alien traders and vibrant displays of wares. The smell of grilled meats wafted through the air, creating a stark contrast to the cold sterility of space. "Stick close," Jack instructed as they disembarked. "This place can get treacherous." Navigating through crowded stalls, they finally reached a makeshift arena where the Free Syndicate conducted its affairs. Crowds cheered as fighters battled, and the raw energy invigorated them. "Jack, we need to get their attention. Show them what we can do," Tricia suggested, eyes flashing with excitement. "Are you suggesting a challenge?" Jack raised an eyebrow. "You are fearless." "Perhaps, but I know you're the one they need to see. A human fighting for our cause. Impressive, right?" "Let's make it a show they won't forget," he agreed, a grin breaking across his face. With Tricia's encouragement, Jack stepped into the arena. The crowd hushed, their eyes locking onto him as he faced his opponent, a seasoned fighter with years of experience etched on his face. The match began, and Jack felt the adrenaline rush through him like a long-lost fire igniting. He danced through punches, leveraging his past training while assessing openings. Every strike he delivered told a story. The crowd roared with approval, cheering for the human outsider. Tricia watched from the sidelines, her heart pounding. The bond they shared burgeoned further with every calculated move he executed. Jack demonstrated bravery and skill he thought he'd lost long ago. Finally, with one last feint, Jack cornered his opponent and knocked him down, the cheers erupting into a deafening roar. He raised his arms in victory, grinning as Tricia joined him on the arena floor. "Not too shabby for a retired hero," Jack teased, breathing heavily. "More than I could have hoped," she said, the admiration shining in her eyes. "Now the Syndicate will hear our plea. We can gather a force strong enough to go against Tharok." With the backing of the Free Syndicate, Jack and Tricia plotted their infiltration of Tharok's fortress, gathering intelligence and resources. As whispers of rebellion spread, they knew the stakes had risen. "Today is the day," Jack declared, staring at the holographic map projected before them in their makeshift command center. "We hit Tharok's base under the cover of night. Discretion is vital." As dusk fell, they donned stealth gear provided by their new allies. Jack adjusted his utility belt, his heart racing with adrenaline. "Are you ready?" Tricia asked, her eyes searching his face. Jack took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility heavy on his shoulders. "Ready as we can be. Remember the plan? We breach, locate the prisoners the moment we're in, and sabotage their operations before they know what hit them. "Stay close," she replied, steadying her own pulse. The moon shone dimly over the rugged landscape as they approached the fortress. Surprise was their ally. Swift and silent, they crept through the shadows, finding their way to the control room. As they neared their destination, Jack could hear voices from within. He motioned for Tricia to take the lead, and they slipped inside, heartbeats in rhythm, as they prepared to steal their way into freedom. The control room was crowded with guards, focusing on their tasks, oblivious to the breach. Jack and Tricia exchanged knowing glances before launching into action. The chaos erupted as Jack disarmed the nearest guard. His field instincts kicked in, and he took down each enemy with turnabouts and swift kicks, Tricia at his side, powerful and graceful. Together they made quick work of the room, turning the tide as guards fell one by one. "There's no time. We have to clear out and find the prison blocks," Jack shouted between breaths, adrenaline blazing in his veins. "Right! You take point!" Tricia exclaimed, and they darted towards the nearest exit. But the immediate calm was shattered as alarms blared, lights flashing ominously around them. "We need to move faster," Jack urged, urgency priming every fiber of his being. They raced down labyrinthine corridors, passing through raw military installations, keeping low while staying out of sight. But just as they found the staircase leading down to the prisoner-holding cells, they were met by a group of mercenaries. "Stop right there!" one of them shouted, raising a gauntleted fist. Jack and Tricia sprang into action, dodging their blows as their hearts raced. Punch after punch they fought as one, the adrenaline surging through their veins. A dynamic duo in sync, they flowed seamlessly through the chaos. "Jack, here!" Tricia called, tossing him a sidearm. "Cover me!" As she pressed onward, Jack defended her, taking down enemies with skillful precision. "Almost there. Just hold them off." Just when the duo thought they had turned the tide, betrayal struck. Amongst the chaos, their ally, Fenn, stepped out from the shadows, his wicked grin sending a chill down Jack's spine. "Did you really think you could outsmart us?" Fenn sneered, his weapon glinting dangerously in the fluorescent light. "Tharok knew you'd come. You're nothing but pawns, and now—" "Fenn, you traitor," Jack shouted, his heart sinking. "You were supposed to help us." "I chose my loyalty wisely," Fenn laughed, motioning to the mercenaries who closed in on them. "Now you will pay for your foolishness." The trap tightened around them as fear raced through Jack's veins. "Tricia, back!" he yelled, pushing her behind him. He fought valiantly but found himself outnumbered, and the situation quickly spiraled. They were cornered, trapped. In the frenzy of fists and fury, Jack's mind raced. They couldn't let Tharok take them. They couldn't give up. "Stay close," Jack urged, moving defensively as the mercenaries advanced. But the odds were against them, and Jack began to feel the weight of despair. In a moment of panic, he struggled to fight off the mercenaries while keeping Tricia safe. But it wasn't long before he caught a glimpse of Fenn's wicked grin. "Fools!" Fenn shouted, revealing himself beneath the shadows. "You can't escape destiny's grip." With each strike, the shadows cast heavier across Jack's mind, whispers of past failures pressing in from every side. How could he let himself fail her? As looming darkness began to swallow hope, Tricia's voice broke through. "Jack, focus! We can do this, you and me. They are nothing compared to our strength." It was a mere breath, a spark igniting the inferno within Jack's heart. He stood tall, drawing strength from her words. "Right, together." With resolve burning anew, they fought back hard. Tricia moved with newfound confidence, taking down an enemy of her own while Jack focused his energy into a whirlwind of punches as he barreled toward Fenn, dodging shots and strikes. "Why do you fight for Tharok?" Jack demanded, fiercely confronting Fenn, whose laughter echoed back. "I fight for survival," Fenn hissed. "You're nothing but prey." But Jack was more than prey. He was done with running. With a maneuver he had practiced often, but rarely displayed, he caught Fenn off guard, executing a swift takedown. "Enough of this," Jack declared, catching Fenn in a lock before easily flipping him to the ground. As he stood above the fallen traitor, the roar of victory echoed in his heart. Jack and Tricia were a force to be reckoned with, and betrayal could not overpower the fire they ignited together. The fortress was in disarray. The alarms blared while rebels pressed forward through the chaos they had created. With newfound confidence in each other, Jack and Tricia regrouped with their allies, a fierce determination igniting in their eyes. "We can't stop now," Jack urged, the satisfaction of their victory still fresh. "Reach the warlord's chamber." They pushed further into Tharok's lair, a labyrinth of steel and dread. Tension hummed thickly in the air. "He won't let us leave alive," Tricia said, her voice steady. "But we will take the fight to him." "That's the spirit," Jack replied, adrenaline coursing through him. The lingering shadows of doubt faded as they pressed on. They navigated through tight hallways, avoiding guards and skirmishes, until finally arriving at the door marked with the emblem of Tharok, a fearsome beast splitting in two. This was it. Jack steadied his breath. "On three, we burst in without hesitation." "Ready," Tricia confirmed, her eyes fierce. "1, 2, 3. With a powerful kick, they burst through the door, pushing into the warlord's inner sanctum. The expansive chamber was dimly lit, illuminated only by the glowing screens displaying maps of Varta. At the far end, Tharok sat upon his throne, a monstrous figure veiled by darkness, his gaze piercing as his lips curled into a menacing grin. "Ah, the little guardians have finally arrived," he sneered, holding a glimmering weapon lazily in his grasp. "How tragic it will be when you join the ranks of the fallen." "Not if we can help it," Jack fired back, his pulse quickening as he stepped into the room. "Stand your ground, Tricia," Jack exclaimed, igniting the tension even as the mercenaries surrounded them. Tharok waved a hand dismissively, and the mercenaries stepped forward, weapons raised. "You foolishly think you can challenge me?" "No," Tricia spoke up, her voice commanding. "We are here to end your reign of terror once and for all." With a guttural roar, the battle erupted as Jack and Tricia unleashed their fury. Jack struck out at the nearest mercenary, while Tricia gracefully spun, taking down her own opponent. Jack felt alive again. Each blow, each gasp and growl filled him with the energy he had thought lost forever. They fought as one, united against the oncoming tide. But as the fight turned into chaos, he felt the ground quaking beneath him. The mercenaries pushed forward, and Jack's pace faltered for a moment. "Tricia, we need to take down Tharok," he urged. "Distract him," she shouted, frustration surging. Without hesitation, Jack charged Tharok, dodging guards and rocks as they collapsed in the turmoil. Tharok laughed, an unsettling sound. "You'll never defeat me, human." "Watch me," Jack yelled, catching the warlord's gaze. He thrust himself forward, striking with a fierce combination of moves developed from countless battles. But Tharok was powerful, parrying Jack's blows as he surged back. "Is that all you've got?" Tharok taunted, his weapon glowing as he sent a shockwave through the air, momentarily stunning Jack. But in that electric moment, he felt Tricia's presence pulse beside him. "Jack!" she shouted, throwing a device that detonated, creating a veil of smoke and confusion. "Now!" she yelled. With renewed vigor, Jack sprang into action, driven by Tricia's conviction. Together they fought back against Tharok, their movements synchronized. Jack could hear the echoes of rebellion beyond the walls, the cries of hope, and it fed his resolve. But Tharok's powers were formidable. He retaliated fiercely, throwing Jack against the wall. Pain shot through him, but he pushed through. Tharok's eyes narrowed as he focused on Tricia, sending forth a blast aimed directly at her. "You think you can save her?" "No," Jack shouted, leaping to intervene, barely managing to deflect the blow. He grasped the moment to regain his footing and charged once more. Tricia's presence beside him echoed strength. "We can win this, Jack, together," she yelled, inspiring him to push forward. With newfound courage, they turned the tide. Jack faced Tharok, channeling everything he had into a decisive strike, while Tricia moved with grace alongside him, guiding him. In the climax, Tharok raised his weapon, but Jack slipped past him, delivering a powerful blow just as Tricia executed a spinning kick that connected squarely with Tharok's jaw, stunning him. The room fell silent for a heartbeat as Tharok stumbled back, a mere moment, but it was enough. Jack lunged forward, driving the blade into Tharok's side as Tricia seized the chance to trap him. With a roar of defiance, Jack pulled the weapon free and turned to meet Tricia's eyes, both breathing heavily, adrenaline rushing through them as the warlord collapsed in defeat. The fortress began to crumble around them as the alarm waned into silence. Tricia and Jack stood amidst the wreckage, a shared breath of disbelief escaping their lips. "We did it," Tricia whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "We did," Jack echoed, feeling a rush of accomplishment as the prisoners began to emerge from their cells. Exultation filled the air as rebels cheered, rallying around them. "Together we dismantled his tyranny," Tricia cried, her voice carrying over the noise. Jack's heart soared as hope illuminated their surroundings, realization flooding him. He had finally fought back, confronted his demons, and reclaimed pieces of himself he thought lost to the void. "You have no idea how brave you are," Tricia said softly, stepping closer, emerald light glimmering in her eyes. "Hardly alone, Tricia," Jack responded, feeling the warmth of her friendship wrap around him. "I could never have done it without you." With the fortress collapsing behind them, they joined the throng of rebels, hands raised in unity as freedom blossomed around them. "What now?" Jack asked, exhilaration bubbling to the surface. "We rebuild," she smiled, full of optimism. "We gather our forces and create a new legacy, one where hope prevails." Jack looked out over the fighters, the laughter and joy of freedom washing over him. A legacy worth fighting for. As they stood together watching the sun rise beyond the horizon, the beauty of Varta gleamed with possibility. Their bond, forged through chaos and triumph, was unbreakable, a partnership destined for greatness. "Let's make our story one of guardianship together," Jack declared, feeling an overwhelming swell of determination. "And one where we protect those who cannot protect themselves," Tricia smiled, looking ahead with unwavering resolve. And with hearts united, they stepped forward, ready to face whatever lay ahead in the vast expanse of the galaxy. Together, guardians of hope,